In a faraway kingdom wrapped in misty forests, golden fields, and silent rivers, there lived two sisters whose lives were completely different. One was known as the rich sister, living inside a grand marble palace. Her days were filled with silk dresses, golden jewelry, royal servants, and endless luxury. She had everything money could buy, but her heart was often empty. The other was the poor sister, living in a small wooden hut near the edge of a dark forest. Her life was simple and difficult. She worked every day just to find food, carrying water from the river and collecting firewood just to survive another night. Even though they were sisters by blood, their worlds were far apart. The rich sister often looked down upon her poor sister, and the poor sister never asked for anything, not even help. But destiny was quietly preparing something magical for both of them. One morning, the poor sister went deep into the forest to collect firewood. The trees were unusually silent that day. Even the birds were quiet, as if the forest was watching her. She walked further than she ever had before, until she reached a strange clearing. There, hidden under thick vines and old stones, stood something unusual. A broken wooden mill. It looked ancient, forgotten, almost alive in a mysterious way. The poor sister felt something strange in her heart. Instead of fear, she felt hope. She touched the mill softly and whispered, "Who left you here, all alone?" That night, something unbelievable happened. In her dream, an old woman appeared. Her eyes were glowing like stars. She said, "This is no ordinary mill. It is the magic mill. But it only works for hearts that are pure." The poor sister asked, "What does it do?" The old woman smiled and replied, "It gives what you truly need, not what you desire in greed." And then the dream faded. The next morning, the poor sister returned to the mill. Her heart was confused, but hopeful. She sat beside it and whispered gently, "I don't want riches. I just want enough food to survive." For a moment, nothing happened. Then suddenly, the mill started to move, slowly at first, then faster and faster. A soft golden light surrounded it, and in front of her eyes, bread, fruits, rice, and milk began to appear. The poor sister fell to her knees in shock. Tears filled her eyes. For the first time in her life, she was not hungry. Days turned into weeks. The poor sister's life changed completely. She no longer suffered from hunger. She no longer cried at night. But something important remained the same. She never became greedy. Every time she used the mill, she only asked for what she needed. Sometimes food, sometimes clothes, sometimes medicine for sick villagers. And the mill always responded with gentle light. Soon, whispers of a miracle in the forest began to spread across the kingdom. In the palace, the rich sister heard the story. "A magical mill that produces anything you want," people said. She laughed loudly. "Magic? That is nonsense. Poor people always create stories to feel better." But deep inside, something strange grew in her heart. Curiosity, then jealousy, and finally, greed. She decided to follow her sister. One night, she secretly left the palace and entered the forest. The deeper she went, the colder the air became. Until she finally saw it. A glowing mill surrounded by soft gold and light, and her poor sister standing peacefully beside it. Her eyes widened. "This belongs in my palace," she whispered. The rich sister stepped forward and said loudly, "Step away from it. I will take it now." The poor sister turned and said softly, "This mill is not owned. It chooses the heart." The rich sister ignored her. She placed her hand on the mill and said, "Give me gold. Give me jewels. Make me the richest woman in the world." But nothing happened. The mill stopped glowing. Silence filled the forest. The curse of greed. The rich sister tried again and again, but every command failed. Her frustration turned into anger. "If it won't obey me, then it is useless." At that moment, the forest reacted. The sky turned dark. The wind stopped. Even the animals ran away. The magic mill began to crack with dark energy. The poor sister shouted, "Stop! You are destroying it." But the rich sister couldn't hear anymore. Greed had taken control of her heart. Suddenly, the mill's lights started fading. The forest trees began losing their color. Everything was becoming lifeless. The poor sister fell to her knees and cried, "Please, don't let it end like this." She turned to her sister and said, "I never wanted this for you. I only wanted peace." For the first time, the rich sister saw her sister's tears, and something inside her cracked. A soft glowing voice echoed through the air. "Magic does not belong to greed. It belongs to kindness." The mill began to shine again. The rich sister froze. She finally understood. All her life, she had believed wealth was power, but she was wrong. Her voice shook as she whispered, I was wrong." Tears rolled down her face. The poor sister stood up and walked toward her. Instead of anger, she showed forgiveness. She hugged her sister and said, "We are still sisters." At that moment, the mill transformed. The broken wooden mill slowly changed into a glowing tree of light. Its branches reached the sky. Its roots healed the forest. Golden light spread everywhere. The kingdom felt peace. Again, sickness disappeared. Hunger ended. Fear vanished. The magic mill was gone, but its message remained forever. The rich sister gave up her greed and started helping the villagers. The poor sister became the guardian of kindness, and together, they rebuilt the kingdom not with gold, but with love. And somewhere deep in the forest, where the glowing tree once stood, a whisper could still be heard. True magic is not wealth. It is kindness, forgiveness, and love.